This is the new 2022 Polestar 2. Now, as you look at this car, you're probably thinking to yourself, well, it doesn't look very new compared to the Polestar 2 that we already know. But in fact, this version is all new for 2022. It is the front-wheel drive, aka single motor, long-range battery version. Now, why would Polestar introduce a model that may potentially have less interest, especially in Canada? It's very simple. You get a lower price point, and which should bring with it a little bit more volume. Now, obviously, at a lower price point of $49,900, that means that the car is eligible for a number of provincial and federal incentives, which should bring more volume, as I've mentioned. Now, Polestar itself, so far, the 2, is doing quite well globally. I mean, their goal for the first full model year of sales, 2021, was about 20,000 units. And as we speak now, they're closing in on 30,000 units. So this car is definitely a hit. I think, and it's kind of a twisted thing where I'm going, is that in Canada, I'm not convinced that the front-wheel drive long-range battery version will be a hit given our harsh winters. In the US, however, this one should sell like a hotcake. But the highlight really is that while driving it, you really can't tell the difference. In the following video, we'll do a quick tour of the car itself because physically and visually it has not changed. This is, however, a lower trim model than the previous one I drove, and then we'll take it for a drive, and effectively you can't tell the difference between the front-wheel drive and the all-wheel drive, except in one instance perhaps. Now about that quick walk around, just as the rain is starting up again, obviously. I really like the styling of this car. I mean, I did compare it to an Outback sedan, which isn't exactly flattering, but I say that because this is a beefy 5-door hatchback. Yes, it's a hatchback. You know, it's got tall, squared fenders. It's got a fair amount of ground clearance. I mean, it's very aerodynamic, but it's beefy at the same time. It's got a lot of street presence, if you will. It looks good. Would it be nicer as a wagon? Of course it would. Will they make one? Of course they won't. One thing though I do like about this car specifically, because it doesn't have the sport package with the Allens dampers and the 20-inch wheels, I like it better for a number of reasons, in fact. One being the 19s just fit this car's personality so much better. Okay, so front-wheel drive, long range, $49,900. If you want the all-wheel drive or the dual motor version, it's $56,900. And in my opinion, even though you lose a little bit of range, I'll give you a few numbers in a few minutes, I still think it's worth it. If not for the range, I mean, if not for the power, just the all-wheel drive traction that you'll get in winter, it's just a definite, absolute advantage in my opinion. But you do lose out on some incentives. So $49,900 you have access to in Quebec, for example, the $8,000 provincial credit. So that with, you know, when you consider taxes and you do a little bit of math, it's kind of worth it. Now, other new things included, or available I should say, for the 2022 model year is a mechanical heat pump, which takes ambient temperature and powertrain temperature and aids in heating up the cabin and conditioning the battery. Just that alone adds about 10% to the actual available range, and which is massive. Unfortunately, it's only available as part of the Plus pack, which this car actually has. So for $5,500 on top of your $49,900, you do get the heated steering wheel, the heat pump, the heated rear seats, and this massive glass roof, which, I mean, unfortunately, you have to take all that to get the stuff you really want. I suppose maybe I'm just the weird one because I'm not interested in anything else other than the heat pump and the heated steering wheel. This car also has the extra driving aids. Unfortunately, the name of the package escapes me. So you're looking at about $59,000, maybe $10,000 or so in total options. Quick tour, I guess we'll keep going. So this is kind of unfortunate. I forget if I showed it in the other video, but that's really low. You can always use the key fob. But about 440 liters worth of trunk space, and yes, it's a hatch, as I mentioned. Very, very usable trunk. There's plenty of storage under here too. I could show you the frunk. Should I show you the frunk again? You know what? Oh, what the hell? Yes, I know, you know, we both know. That's a frunk is a novelty. Am I going to get it? Of course I'm not going to get it because pressure, because shooting. Come on. There we go. This is about 35-ish liters. You can remove this little divider, but you know, whatever. Funny thing, there's no jack stand or floor jack to raise the car like the other model had, which is cool. Dual latches, love that. Cool stuff from Volvo. Little safety details. Plenty of room back here. I did mention that getting in is easy because of the high roof line, but it's a little tight for the feet. Weave Tech stuff. It's just superb. There's kind of a, oh, that's funny with the water. Oops. I don't know. It looks so durable, so premium at the same time, and I'm guessing that that's going to dry up pretty fast. Look, everything else about the switchgear is very Volvo, which is familiar, useful, a lot of fun. Getting in, there's no start button like a Tesla, so you have your fully digital display right there, and this is the central nervous system, which with Google operating system, I mean, it works really well. There's a little bit of a learning curve depending on what you're used to, but once you figure out how everything works, how you have access, oh, look at that software update, you know, it works quite well. I mean, it's okay, it's a good thing I showed you this. Creep, right? So you can have it creep or come to a full stop. Varying levels of regen braking, which is fantastic. Steering feel, this is the exact amount of drive modes, I should say, that every car should have, especially this and that. What a world of a difference. It just makes it all the better. It's a very clean, very Volvo-like interior. Beefy dash. Visibility is not too bad, as you would expect in a Volvo, right? Nice little opening there. And the seats are just incredibly comfortable. I mean, there isn't much else to add. Oh, well, yeah, I know you're probably not going to see. Yeah, there it is. That Polestar logo is actually projected from here onto the glass roof, so at night you can actually see it. It's kind of a neat feature, I suppose. I guess now it's time to go for a drive. So as I mentioned, there isn't really much of a difference in city driving with the front-wheel drive long-range Polestar 2 compared to the all-wheel drive version. And that really has to do with the fact that even if it does only have one electric motor, it generates all of its 243 pound-feet of torque instantly. So off the line in the city, I mean, you really feel like you're going to get out of your way quite quickly. I mean, it still has 231 horsepower, which will, you know, pull you along as much as you need. But, you know, in all fairness, 408 horsepower, 487 horsepower, pound-feet of torque, apologies. It's a lot more, although, oh, apologies, V60 Polestar, I just had to. That was a fantastic car. Okay, I digress. All right, so there's that. There's the power, a little bit of a difference, but, you know, until the snow comes, you're fine with a front-wheel drive. Otherwise, everything else about the drive, like the mechanics, the brakes, I mean, I showed you I'm in standard regen mode, and I have creep off, so one pedal driving in the city, as I've been doing for the last little while, is absolutely easy. And in fact, I mean, other than not using any fuel whatsoever, it is an EV's greatest trick. One pedal driving, I mean, I think I've used the brake twice in the last 45 minutes of driving. Steering is fine. I mean, you can adjust it as I showed you as well. So, I mean, it's not connected to anything, but it does the job. The highlight, I must say, and this could be something to take into consideration if you are shopping for a Polestar 2, is that this car, as I noted, only has the 19-inch wheels, which are standard, and not the 20s and the Allens dampers that are included with the sportier package. The ride quality is immensely better. I mean, there's still a a hint of, a little bit more dynamics tuned into the chassis than comfort. But because you have a little bit of extra sidewall and a little bit more give to the dampers themselves, it's just so much better adapted to driving in the city. Now, as far as range is concerned and battery is concerned, so the Polestar 2 with the long range has a 78 kilowatt hour battery. It's a 400 volt unit, lithium ion. It is capable of up to 155 kilowatts of charging, which means that in a 10 to 80% charge on a fast charger, it'll take about 33 minutes, give or take. If you're charging at home, say on your typical home outlet, say at 11 kilowatts, it'll take overnight, 8 hours. Everything about that is normal. Now, when it comes to range, so the long range version will give you up to 435 kilometers of range. As far as I'm concerned, not yet an EV owner, but perhaps a near future EV owner, I think that is a sweet spot. That's just enough to get you to 99% of your destinations, even if they are far, and the fact that you can charge at relatively quick speeds, will make short work of any longer road trip. Now, if you take the dual motor for 2022, now this car is going to be available as of January 2022, and the dual motor long range will be available a little bit later this fall. Range only drops by 35 kilometers, so you're looking at 400. Now, if you recall, just a few minutes ago, I mentioned that if you take the Plus package with the heat pump, you can get 10% more range. So let's just, pretend that you have a single motor, long range, and you take the Plus package, where you're looking at upwards of 480 kilometers of range. If I can do the math, I'm not so good at that. Now we're talking. This is serious business, and it's only going to get better. But as long as you own your Polestar 2, I can't imagine that you'll need more. The bottom line, the essentials, is that the Polestar 2 remains a very interesting EV, if mostly because it is, up to 2021 standards, even 2022 standards. Now with the front wheel drive model, you do have a slightly more affordable version, though I can't see becoming the volume model in Canada especially. And there's a familiarity about the exterior design, the interior design, and finally with the 19-inch wheels, the ride quality is just so much better. I still really, really like this, and I have mentioned in the past that today's EVs are as bad as they're going to get, but among all the bad current EVs, this is still one of the more interesting ones. And I will add that the Volvo XC40 Recharge, I wouldn't dismiss that one. I really enjoy that one. Obviously, they have a lot in common with the two. Anyhow, that's it. I like this thing.